put it to you this way. We are on January 18th right now. When was the last time you did your 75 hard day?
Yeah. So, and going on to the next question.
Welcome to our new segment, Perspectives, where Josh and I interview one another about a different topic each section. Today, we are talking about New Year's resolutions and goal setting. With that said, Josh, what is your perspective on New Year's resolutions?
So I think that any time that people take time to step back and look at their life and see if the actions that they're taking are going towards a goal that's important to them is a positive thing. For some reason, I don't think for some reason, I think I know why, but New Year's resolutions get kind of a bad knock sometimes. And I think it's because a lot of people fail them. And so for some reason, that there's been an association with the fact that since these goals aren't being met the majority of the time, that they shouldn't be set at all. And I disagree with that. I think that any time that you can sit back, reflect on your life, and make goals for the future is good, whether it's the beginning of the year or any other time of the year.
That's really interesting. So what do you think makes an effective resolution then? Like, why are people failing with these resolutions, and how do you think they can succeed and, have a better outlook on them in general?
So I think people look at goals as kind of static actions or, things that are independently happening of other things. And what I mean by that is, for instance, a goal of going to the gym every day, right?
Right.
The act of going to the gym, in all reality, not very difficult when you think about it, right? If I were to say right now, like, could we cut the podcast off, hop in the car, and drive to the gym? That's not a very difficult task. It involves finding our keys and driving, right?
Yeah, I could do that real easy. I could just, I found my keys in this drawer before. It might be a little bit more difficult for me depending on where my keys are.
Yeah, but like the action itself, not truly that difficult, right?
No.
But it's the other things that go along with it, right? It's the fact that it's 5 a.m. It's 30 degrees out. I'm exhausted. All these other things that are playing a factor into achieving the goal that is not considered at the beginning, right?
Right.
And so I think that people place a lot of focus on the action of achieving the goal in the short term, in just getting there, but what the long-term changes that are going to make those goals actually come to fruition is taking a look at the things that are preventing you from getting to those goals and taking care of those first. So why are you exhausted in the morning? What can you do to, be more prepared for the cold, things like that.
Oh, interesting. And like, what steps do you think what do you think those steps are? Like, for instance, why are you tired in the morning? Like, what has prevented you from what has prevented you personally from like going and doing something that you have set out as a goal? Like, what can you do to prevent yourself from not doing that? Right.
Yeah. So I think that having a clear definition of what achieving that goal looks like, right? So my example before, going to the gym every day, right? How long am I going to the gym? What am I going to do at the gym? What level of that is going to be satisfying for me? Do I have to go to the gym and deadlift 1,000 pounds to be satisfied? Or will I be happy if I go to the gym and ride on the same stationary bike for 20 minutes? Is that enough for me to feel satisfied?
Right.
And then the other thing, like you said with the barriers, is it's taking a look at first identifying what it is that I'm doing instead of achieving my goals, right? So, I'm clearly not 100% satisfied with my current state. Otherwise, I wouldn't be setting goals to go to the next part. What am I doing in those times where I could be achieving my goals and I'm doing something else. For me, it could be something like staying up playing Xbox, crushing Madden for 2-3 hours. It could be scrolling on my phone, things like that. So, first identifying them, and I think is the first part.
Yeah, I mean that's super important. Like I, for instance, sometimes catch myself, having that one more game mentality.
Yes.
Right. Like where you're playing a video game and you're like, you know what, it's 10:30 p.m. I can just do one more, and then it's 11 p.m. and you're like, you know what, I'll survive if I'm a little tired in the morning. And you do one more.
I was up crushing Madden until 2 a.m. last night. So,
how many one more games did you do?
Oh, several more one more games.
Did you win them?
I did pretty well. I'm
Okay.
I'm almost at the second highest ranking in Madden,
Nice.
below the top 100 sector. But did get up today anyway and get to the gym exhausted, which like I said, what I did just there, staying up till 2 a.m. and then getting up and going to the gym, that would be my example of looking at the goal as a static thing, right?
Okay.
Because I can't do that every day, right? I can't stay up till 2 a.m. and go to the gym every day and also, have enough energy to do the other things in my day that are important. Right. My goal is bound to fail if I'm not taking a look at the process before, right? Because I only did what the goal was, right? The goal was to get to the gym, and I have as efficient of a workout as I could have had I had better sleep? No. Was I excited to go to the gym? Absolutely not. It was dreadful to get out of bed. And so I think that there's too much time spent on the goal itself and not around the things that are preventing you from achieving them.
Okay. And like what do you think can make it more effective to complete your goal? Like how can you make it so that you do this process of achieving your goal or your resolution more effective in the long run?
Yeah, so I think that once you've identified what you're doing with your time, it's about slowly molding that into something else, right?
Okay.
So I gave the example of deadlifting 1,000 pounds, right?
Right.
That's not on my radar, nor, do I need that to feel achieved, right? It's all about wins for me. Okay. I want to feel a sense of accomplishment for the day that's going to take me, onto my next activity. So once I've identified what I'm doing with my time, I'll then start to look at, what can I insert into what I'm already doing, say taking 30 minutes away from, playing Madden, right? If I take 30 minutes away from playing Madden and I go to the gym instead and do cardio, is that going to be satisfying for me? And then grading slowly. And what I mean by grading is taking it almost in levels, right?
Right.
So level one might just be simply going to the gym and being there for 20 minutes, right?
Right.
I heard a story once about a guy that had lost several hundred pounds. I don't know the specifics, but the journey that he got there was very interesting. He took it extremely slow. For the first, I want to say 2 months, he had to go to the gym every single day, and he could only stay for 10 minutes. Right? Not enough to make huge changes, right?
Right.
Like you're not going to make any drastic, before and after pictures in 2 months of going to the gym 10 minutes a day. But you know what you did do?
You made it a habit.
You developed a habit, right? You got rid of that major barrier of going to the gym. Getting started is the hardest part. Getting out of the house. He did that. He did the hardest part of it over and over and over and over again. Right?
And then felt achieved because he went to the gym.
Yeah.
So like you go to the gym and you feel the achievement of just going to the gym and then going home. Maybe you didn't even work up that much of a sweat going to the gym. Maybe you
Probably
walk a couple miles.
Well, maybe he did. He was like 400 pounds. But
you and I, if we take the same scenario where our goal is just go to the gym every day.
Yeah.
Maybe even you don't work out for the first week. Maybe you just go to the gym.
Stretch.
You stretch, and then you go home. Maybe the next day you go to the gym, same time, stretch, go back. Yeah, I mean that really does sound like the kind of thing that could develop a habit. And like when, let's say you do it when you get up in the morning or right when you get home from work.
Yeah.
Right. One of those two is probably the best times for you to create a habit. Right. My current habit when I get up in the morning is either lay down, hop on my iPad for 20 minutes, get up, take a shower, go to work.
Yeah.
Or hit the snooze, sleep a little bit more, go to work.
Yeah.
And then getting home, it's, that was a tiring day. Okay, I'm going to go sit on my couch and watch some TV for a little bit, and then I'm going to go to the gym.
Right.
But maybe I don't actually go to the gym after sitting down and, watching TV for a little while,
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Identifying how you're spending your time, like you're saying. Yeah. And the other thing is, it's like, okay, how many times have you in, say, your scholastic career had to write an essay, some sort of report, and you're just dreading doing it, right?
Right.
You get started, and all of a sudden the creative ideas start flowing, and you start busting it out, right? Likely, I mean, for that guy, I'm sure, after a week or two of going to the gym for 10 minutes, I mean, I'm sure that internally you start to want to do more. You're like, I'm already here. It's not that hard to get here anymore.
Right.
I've gotten more energy because I'm doing a little bit, every day. And I think that natural progression of just starting to do more happens.
Right. Yeah, that makes a ton of sense. Like it's starting to create habits, It starts to create a habit for what you want to achieve. So with all that being said, the more esoteric version of the goals, like you've talked all about the process of getting to the gym, getting to your goal.
Mm-hmm.
But specifically, what is your plan going forward for setting your goals? Like, what goals do you want to achieve, and how are you going to do it in using this process?
Okay. So should I first talk about a goal that I set that I failed?
Yes, 100%. You should 100% talk about your New Year's resolution this year that you failed.
Okay. So I started off the year. I don't know if people have heard about this. It's called a challenge that's called 75 Hard.
Right.
So it's 75 days straight of drinking a gallon of water, doing 2 45-minute workouts a day. One of them has to be outside. You have to read 10 pages of a nonfiction book. And then if you do not do it for one day, you have to start the 75 days over.
That sounds very hard.
Yeah. 75, and I think it is. And I believe that is a achievable goal? Yes, I actually do. I believe it's achievable. Would I feel satisfied if I completed it? Yes. But is the process going to be easy enough for me to transition to it at this moment? That I don't know, right? And so I think that, and I also think that the daunting feeling of, if I miss it one day, that, it's over, the challenge is over. I think that puts too much pressure on it, right? And so I think that I did fail that. I did it for, I don't know, a week. I was right there with quitters weekend, second weekend of January.
Well, you were ahead of the quitters, right? You were first weekend of January, right?
Probably. Yeah, I can't remember the exact date that I stopped, but
I'll put it to you this way: we are on January 18th right now. When was the last time you did your 75 hard day?
Yeah. So, and going on to the next question,
have you? Okay, so going back to the process thing, right? Where, okay, so you use the example of just going to the gym every day.
Yes.
Maybe instead of starting with 75 hard, where it's a gallon of water, 2 workouts, and reading a book, maybe you do them one at a time for a month each, right? Like, let's say you start with the easiest one, reading 10 pages of a book every single day,
Yeah.
right? I don't know about you, but that sounds like the easiest of the 75 hard. It might be the most boring, but if you do that, maybe you do that for a month. For 1 month, you start with 31 easy, right?
Yeah.
And you read 10 pages of a nonfiction book every single day at a specific time every single day. Create that habit.
Yeah.
Like at a certain occurrence in your day, whether it's in the morning when you wake up, you read 10 pages of a book and then you get your day going. Or every day when you get home from work, you read 10 pages and then you continue your day. So that creates the habit of that reading, right?
Yeah.
And then maybe you start stacking that habit with the other things, right?
I like that 31 easy, because I think that is a smart way to look at it. Going towards achieving my goals doesn't necessarily have to be hard, right?
Right.
Like as long as I'm on a daily basis doing something more than I was previously doing, and it's going towards that goal. And I think most importantly, I can consider it a win. That's the biggest thing I think going into this year that's different for me, is that I'm not looking at my goals in a reward or trophy type thing, right?
Right.
I'm not, necessarily trying to become a bodybuilder by going to the gym,
Right.
or trying to squat 400 pounds. It's okay. I think I would feel better about myself in the mornings if I went on a 20-minute walk.
Right.
Right. And I think that I would have more energy at work and maybe be able to do, a little bit of lifting after work. And it's enough to be able to tell myself that, hey, you're doing better than you were yesterday.
Right.
So,
and honestly, for you in particular, that has to be pretty hard to have that, pretty difficult to change your mindset in that way. Because, spoiler alert, Josh here is an All-American pole vaulter. Or he was.
Division 3.
Division 3.
I always like to throw that in there, just,
But he got in the top 8 of every pole vaulter in the United States in Division 3. So that is a very impressive feat, and you got a trophy for it, and you got an achievement for that, right? And like, that's what you were working towards for 4 years in school.
Yep.
4 years or 5 years?
5 years to school, 4 years of track.
Okay. Just double checking on that. I was pretty sure there was a 5th year in there, but
yeah. And it's interesting you bring that up, because working towards that goal was probably the most aggressive I've ever worked towards a goal in my life.
Right.
Right. I worked so hard to get towards that goal, but the goal was strictly based on that moment. Right. And once that moment hit and passed, everything kind of changed for me, in that I didn't have a purpose anymore. Right. I wasn't there for the experience of getting there.
You wanted to get there.
Yeah, I wanted
once you
to get there.
You didn't know what to do with yourself.
Yeah, and I think, other factors as far as, that part of my life, passed, and, I was no longer doing track. But yes, I think that an emphasis on achieving a tangible thing is somewhat, toxic for you, and that, you have to find a way to enjoy the process. Very cliche, but I think it's very true. If you can't give yourself a dose of exercise that you can enjoy every day to get whatever your goal is, then what's the point if it's a miserable experience the entire time?
Yeah, that makes sense.
And it doesn't have to be.
Okay,
right?
So yeah, I mean, for sure. That being said, going forward, what do you want your goal to be, right? Because your goal that you failed was the 75 hard. But what do you want your goals going forward to be?
So I'm trying something new. Okay. So I put a lot of emphasis on talking about what I'm filling my time with. And I think it's important that it's not an issue that I have things that I fill my time with that are not productive, right? I think that I have to make sure that I'm the one in control of those things and not the other way around, right?
Okay.
And so what I mean by that is like we talked about the one more game, thing, right? So in my opinion, when I'm stuck, and that word is, I really feel that word, when I'm stuck in that mode, I'm no longer in control of the activity I'm doing. The activity has captured me, right?
Right.
And so I think that my goal at the beginning is going to take a look at those things that I think are overtaking time that I could be spending on my other goals, and making sure that I have more strict parameters on how many hours or how many games am I going to play before I shut it off.
Right.
And I think that having strict parameters for those things will allow me to set some easily achievable goals for going to the gym. So going to back to what you originally asked, what are my goals? I would like to go to the gym every morning. And when I go to the gym, I would like to be there for an hour at a time. I don't have any expectations as far as, what kind of workout it would entail. But going to the gym about an hour each day. On top of that, I would like to produce, I would say if we produced 50 videos this year, that's close to a video every single week. I would be very happy if the YouTube channel produced 50 videos in 2025. And I would like to hit our first 1,000 view video at some point this year.
Okay.
I think those would be my top goals coming off the top of my head.
Okay. So for the first goal, you're saying you want to go every single day, right?
Yes.
What do you do when you fail it? What happens when you don't go for one day? Then do you throw the goal out the window, or are you going to give yourself some kind of allowance to not fail the overall goal, but maybe the process is there? Right?
Yeah. That's why I'm abandoning 75 hard, is because I don't think it's reasonable to live your life in the sense that you're going to be perfect every single day. Right. I think that more frequent reflection on why I missed a goal a day is going to be way more important. Right. So when I do miss a day of going to the gym, because it's not a sense of if, right?
Yeah, because it's going to be when.
Yeah,
you're going to miss a day for something. You're going to go out drinking one night, or you're going to, stay up, be sick. You're going to get hurt. Something's going to happen.
Yeah.
Or you're just going to not feel like you want to go.
Yeah.
Right. That is possible. I feel like you have that less than me personally.
As far as what do you mean?
I feel like if you don't feel like going, you're still probably going to go because you put that pressure on yourself. Whereas I theoretically, if I had that same goal, could get up in the morning and be like, I really don't feel like this. I really don't want to have to deal with driving through rush hour traffic. I really don't want to feel like doing this.
I definitely think that perseverating through challenges like that is still something that I need to work on as well.
Yeah.
But I appreciate that you think that I have a little bit of
you definitely have more self-control in that scenario than I do.
Well, something for both of us to work on in 2025 then.
Agreed.
Yeah. So once I've failed that one day, taking a step back and making sure that I'm not substituting that time with, and if you take a look at our other video where I'm interviewing Adam about different questions, Adam made a great point talking about draining your energy with certain activities.
Right.
Your example was eating candy, right? You
Yep.
you have a sweet tooth and you notice, the crash after having candy
Exactly.
drains you of your energy. If I don't go to the gym one morning and instead fill that feeling of dissatisfaction with something like binge watching TV too late or crushing, candy, things like that, I'm then not only did I miss my goal, but I'm depleting my energy more so that the next time it comes around where I have an opportunity to achieve my goal, I'm less likely to do it. And
Right.
so I think I really think that it's more so about managing the things that are going to take away energy from you and make you feel unmotivated, and making sure that those don't take over your life so that, you naturally feel inclined to participate in those other things.
Okay. Very interesting. And something I mentioned in the other video is one thing that I feel is important for goals is having that mountain to crest, having a finish line to your goal.
Yeah.
Do you have a finish line to your working out every day goal? What kind of finish line can you have for that? I know this goes back to your getting a trophy for something, but I do think setting a timeline and having something to achieve in your process goal is important. Do you have something to achieve in your working out every day process goal?
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think that setting tangible goals is good. I would have to think about that. I think that off the top of my head, when I think about what drives me to get into the gym, off the top of my head, I'd say two things. One, I have become very injury prone in the past couple years. So I don't want to, I don't want to feel like anytime I want to make some sort of athletic movement, I'm at risk of like throwing my back out, something like that. So that's the first thing. And I think the next goal that I would have, it would probably be some sort of body composition goal,
Okay.
I realize that, as I'm getting into my early 30s, that naturally, I'm going to be changing in the way that I look. But I want to maintain some sort of, physique that I can be proud of.
Right.
And I would have to make a little bit more specifics as far as what that would be.
Okay.
Because I agree that having tangible goals is important, but I also think that they need to be specific so that once you've met them.
Yeah.
So that's
agreed.
something I would have to think more about.
We'll pin a comment down below if you ever end up finding out what that is.
Yeah. No, I will think about it. I don't know. I'm thinking about like maybe 0.5% of body fat and put on 30 pounds of muscle in the next 3 weeks.
All right. So you'd be dirty bulking.
Oh no, not with my 0.5% body fat. I'm gonna be I don't know, injecting muscle, I think.
You'll be injecting something, that's for sure.
And then as far as the channel goes, I think that one I've made a little bit more tangible.
Yeah, you definitely did make it a little bit more tangible, but like what? So I think you have inverse problems there, right?
Okay.
Like your 50 videos a week and what was it? 1,000 view video? Is that right?
Yeah, I think those are I think those are very reasonable. Maybe even lowballing it on what the achievements could be for the year. But go ahead.
I do agree. Those might be a little low. Let's go like a 5,000 view video. I think that's a pretty high goal. But you know what? Let's move on from that. What is your process for those goals? Right? Like you have to. So you have a process goal without really a finish line. And you have two finish lines without a process currently.
Okay.
Do you have a process for those YouTube video goals?
A process for the YouTube video goals. I think that one thing that we have started to implement is work sessions.
Yep.
So it doesn't seem to be difficult for me to get work done in certain circumstances, right? And I think that's important for people to look at as well, right?
Right.
So you have these goals, and maybe if you stayed up till 3 a.m. and woke up and it was, 30 degrees outside and you didn't warm your car. Maybe in those conditions, you don't go to the gym, right?
Right.
Or, maybe if I'm rushing home from work and I, slacked off and had more stuff to do at home, like I'm not going to be as inclined to come and make videos with you. But there are circumstances such as when we meet on Discord
Right.
and have brainstorming sessions that I thoroughly enjoy it. And so I think that finding the area of my goals that I enjoy the most and participating in them more is going to naturally help me to achieve those goals.
Yeah.
So I think more sessions with you on Discord to brainstorm.
Agreed.
I think that incorporating a schedule that I can be confident that I'm familiar with, right? So I know every day, this day, every, Friday, every Wednesday, whatever, we're going to have some sort of meeting or we're going to have a recording session. So yeah, I think that maybe those would be some process goals that I could have.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I think those are very good process those are very good pieces of the process for your end goal for sure. Do you have anything else you want to talk about with your goals? Like I'm not sure a good question to ask for that, but is there anything else that you really want to get into the finer details of, anything like that?
So yeah, I think that the biggest message that I'd like to people to think about is that goals are a reflection of you wanting to be in a different state in your life, right?
Right.
And I think that sitting down and really finding the roots of what that is super important, right? What is it that, makes me want to go to the gym? Is it society? Is it Instagram? Is it the fact that I, used to enjoy that at one point when I was working out with others?
Yeah.
Am I missing a social aspect of my life or am I missing, the athletic part of my life?
Right.
I think that, spending a little bit more time thinking about each of your goals and what components drive you to even put that on, a piece of paper and decide that's a goal is important. And, that might start to shift, what your physical goals are if you do that, like I said, I have fond memories of working out when we were in college together with the rest of the track team. And, maybe going to the gym is always going to be a goal in the sense of taking care of my health. Right. But maybe there's also a sense of, socialization that I'm missing. Yeah. And so, I think that, the only thing I would say that I'd like people to take away is take a look at your goals, figure out if they are truly the goals that you think you need in your life, or is there a deeper meaning to that goal that you need to address first?
Okay, that sounds like a great idea to me. Honestly, I'd have to think about that some more with my own goals that you can check out in the other video.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah. And so, thanks for joining us today. I mean, we really wanted to try something new with these two videos that we have where, I'm kind of like talking to Josh about his perspective. We get kind of talked about what questions we wanted each other to ask, but like we both came in with completely different ideas about this goal setting. And I think we kind of came out with it with some really interesting points, right? Like I feel like one thing that ended up happening is you ended up talking more about the process, right? And I ended up talking more about getting to the finish line. And like, I feel like we kind of came into this with exact opposite perspective. And if we combine both of our methodologies, it's going to work out really well.
Yeah, no, I agree. Get out there and, discuss your goals with your friends, your peers, and try to broaden your horizons, because I think that there's a lot of gray area that people start to forget about, and every little detail matters.
Yeah, 100%.
Thanks for joining us. Really excited to present the perspectives segment of the channel, and we will be coming back to you soon. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment if there's any suggestions for the future.
Awesome.
All right. Peace.
Peace.